Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Remember, subscribe is the vibe. Your boy's on the road to 10K. Humbly. The like button is like, the subscribe button is earned. Yo, we got the alter ego of Jon Jones. Ladies and gentlemen, when I see Jon Jones is in a very small group of men that I always said, yo, there's nothing else for this guy to do but be a fighter. You know what I mean? Like, he's a natural born fighter. Like, Jon Jones, I feel like if the UFC didn't exist, this man would walk around tormenting human beings. I'm talking about just a bona fide bad guy. When I think of Jon Jones, I honestly see him mirror Mike Tyson. Those are the groups of men that I say you got to teach them. You got to sort of give them the coordinates on how to be a human being. At some point in their youth, they kind of went off track and started sparring a little. I feel like Jon Jones and Mike Tyson, you literally had to teach them how to coexist within society and just be human. You know, he's a warrior. Honestly, one of the greatest UFC fighters of all time. Should be undefeated. His only loss came via disqualification in a fight that he was winning because of an illegal knee. This dude is undefeated, in my opinion, in the UFC. And honestly, the only time we've ever seen Jon Jones take a L is when he's had to be human. So I'm very excited to check out the alter ego of Jon Jones just to see how they break down what makes the man who he is. Appreciate y'all. Hit the like button for your boy one time. Huh?
Are you a good guy trying to be bad, or are you a bad guy trying to be good?
Oh, shit.
That's a good question. I think I am a bad guy that's trying to be good.
Yo. First of all, shout out to that question. That question is the perfect question for a dude like Jon Jones. And y'all hear his truth? Y'all hear his truth in that statement? My son had to look up at the stars. He had to look up at the stars to find an answer for that.
That's a good question. I think I am a bad guy that's trying to be good. Just because religiously we're all sinners. We're all sinners. We're born into sin. It's our nature to sin. And it's a decision to try to do the right thing. You know, it's a decision to do the right thing when no one's looking, right? And so I think all of us as humans, none of us are shit, and it's our choice to try to be more than. And so
none of us are shit.
I had to say I lean closer to being an imperfect human that's trying to do the right things and be good.
The most controversial fighter in MMA is back on March 4th to pursue his goal of becoming UFC heavyweight champion, a goal that was put on hold for almost 10 years, but better late than never. Jon held the pound-for-pound king status for almost 6 years.
6 years.
He's considered by many to be the greatest fighter of all time.
And
but only the heavyweight champion can call himself the baddest man on the planet. Jon Jones is a great fighter, but he doesn't stand anywhere close to Bones, the dark alter ego of Jon. The first time we saw Jon Jones transforming into Bones was against the always dangerous Rampage Jackson.
Yo. So something just said, get on your knees and crawl up to him. And then automatically the dream voids itself of him knocking you out immediately, right? So I did that. And I got to kind of, I don't know, fight in an alter ego kind of state, and it was super powerful. Now, to this day, I say that same kind of prayer over myself, and I believe that I transformed into something.
Bones is ruthless. There is no moral code, no boundaries. His game plan is brutal.
It is.
Damage their ability to move.
I was
Damage
just about
the
to say,
vision of his opponent.
I don't think you could be a great fighter. I think being a great fighter is almost synonymous with being a dirty fighter, right? Like, because you have to be willing to do whatever it takes to win, and you have to be great at doing whatever it takes to win. So I feel like both worlds collide. Now, granted, Muhammad Ali was a great fighter, and he wasn't really dirty, but some of these guys, some of these barbarians, you know, I'm talking about the Tyson and the Jon Jones of the world, they're just different. Like, I'm talking about the eye pokes from Jon Jones. The fact that it's kind of like an unsacred rule, you know, the knee shots, the hyperextending of the knee. Like, this dude perfected those knee kicks. And it's basically just a move used to throw off the balance of the fighter that you're fighting by hyperextending his leg. A dirty move. It's not really illegal, but it's like, yo, the bro code is, yo, we don't take shots at each other's knee because we're not trying to end careers. All right. Jon Jones didn't get the memo.
Is saying before the fight that I'll end up poking him in the eyes at some point. And the reason why he says that is because I do poke people in the eyes, and it's very illegal.
His most ruthless moment was shown when he choked out Lyoto Machida in a standing guillotine
Dropped him.
and let his body fall.
Honestly, I felt like I could have broken his neck at that time, but it choked him out, man. It was beautiful.
Stop right there! Stop right there!
And
The closer
walked
Jon
away.
Jones gets to defeat,
Oh my God. And walked away. He knew that man lost consciousness. He knew it. He felt it. Like, you could feel when someone's not resisting anymore. When life is on the verge of leaving someone's body. It's not to say that, you know, I've killed anyone, but I would assume, right? He felt it. My son dropped him like it wasn't nothing. Oh my God.
Stop right there! Stop right there!
With the walk-off.
The closer Jon Jones gets to defeat, the faster Bones will come out and save his host. A symbiote that seems to infect all parts of his life. When Jon Jones made a mistake against Vitor Belfort and got caught in an armbar, Vitor hyperextended Jones' arm. But Jon held onto it and used his freakish strength to escape the submission. Later in the fight, Bones almost broke Vitor's arm.
Freakish athlete.
Idle hands are the devil's plaything. When out of competition, an even deeper darkness pervades his personal life. Winning fights became easy. Jones wasn't threatened by Gustafsson, the young European who had already been beaten in the UFC before. Jon
My
didn't train
God.
hard for the fight, winning via a controversial judge's decision.
Great fight. Great fight.
The bigger the threat is, the more dangerous he will become to neutralize that threat and maintain his status quo. His next title defense was a perfect example of that, because his next opponent, Glover Teixeira, stepped into the octagon riding a 20-fight win streak, 18 of which were finishes. Glover was best known for being brutally dangerous in the clinch with his
20
boxing
fight.
and jiu-jitsu. Jon welcomed the challenge. During the whole fight, he intentionally entered the clinch positions and destroyed Glover at his own game. It was ugly and turned out to be a bloodbath for Glover. At the time, everything was going great for the young superstar. He was successful, rich, and he had the world at his fingertips. Most importantly, though, he could control his alter ego. It rarely showed up outside of fighting. Until it did.
At the time, getting ready for Gustafsson, I felt like, all right, I won by the skin of my teeth, but I won. I just did it. Like, I'm getting ready to do this again. The guy's not really a huge trash talker. I didn't really feel anything. I was motivated, of course, because I wanted to prove a lot of doubters and beat him in a more devastating fashion the second time. It was nothing like being able to fight DC. The drama that we have.
Daniel Cormier, a former heavyweight and also an undefeated fighter, posed the biggest threat in Jon Jones' career. Personal hatred let the symbiote get hold.
Yeah.
The psychotic nature of his alter ego was clear, and he carried it through the whole build-up to the fight. The moment Bones took over Jon was crystal clear in this off-air interview. The mask completely fell off.
Hey, pussy, are you still there?
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here. You are just the fakest person. I actually admire that you can actually be this fake and like when the TV comes on, how you can just change. It's like you're a chameleon.
Hey.
You're the fucking scum of the earth. You are a terrible human being, but you can sure turn it on, huh?
Thank you.
God, you fuck.
Unfazed by that. Unfazed. Like, someone calling you a terrible, like, he just, thank you. Because he know he is. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't bother him. He's just, like, at that age, at his youth, he's just trying to figure out who he is, but he knows he's destined for this. Like, this is what he does, bruh.
I wish they would let me next door so I could spit in your fucking face.
He looked at the camera.
You know I would absolutely kill you if you ever did something like that,
You
right?
could never kill me.
Oh, I bet you I could.
Then you should try, John. You really should try, John.
No, I would literally kill you if you spit in my face.
Yeah, let's try that, John.
Let's be honest. Jon Jones would literally kill you for nothing. So, spitting in his face, that's a death sentence.
Literally kill you.
Let's try that, John.
I'm not saying I would fight you. I said I would kill you if
John,
you did some
do you
stupid
think?
shit
Do you,
like
so,
that.
so, John, do you think I'm just gonna sit there and let you kill me, John? I mean, really?
Missed that rivalry so much. That shit was
That
classic.
cold confidence was on full display in the fight. Jon slowly started breaking down Cormier and was better at almost every exchange. When he knew he had already beat DC's body, he went for his mind. There was no real need to take down Cormier, but he wanted to break his spirit. He finished the round with Cormier being on the floor, and Jones put his hand on DC's forehead. Bones started celebrating the victory before the fight was even over, and he raised his hands up, which led DC to put his guard down. Bones used that time to land a few more punches and ended the fight far less than respectfully.
Oh my god. Oh my god, yo. Only time this man has lost his belt, right here.
In the next 2 years, Jon fought only once, and it wasn't the most decorated opponent. Despite beating OSP in all 5 rounds, a lot of critics thought that Jon didn't look like the previous version of himself. But it all changed when, after another year of suspension for using banned substances, Jon Jones came back to reclaim his title against then-champion and former rival, Daniel Cormier. Jon showed up for the fight completely shaved with only a goatee on his face, fitting for the greatest of all time. In hindsight, Jon Jones beating Daniel Cormier for the second time was inevitable. He fights to the level of competition. DC knew what he needed for the win and what to avoid in this fight, but fate was not on his side.
I know that there's one thing that I do that has gotten me in trouble, if you want to call it trouble, that I've been in a fight before.
Not to mention, just a brief moment to look at this card. Dustin Poirier versus Conor McGregor, both in his prime, and then you got Cormier and Jon Jones, like, on a card. Oh my gosh, yeah, UFC fans know the magnitude of this.
And I haven't been in much trouble, so in the instance that I did get maybe a cut or something, I know it was because of that tendency he's talking about.
You're talking about the Josh Burnett fight, but
You see, so maybe we are on the same wavelength.
Oh.
That will be figured out by September 27th. And so don't think you're going to kick me in the head with your left leg.
Feel so desperately that you're right, yet to fail nonetheless. Dread it,
Oh,
run
got him
from
there.
it.
Got him
Destiny
there.
arrives all the same.
And DC the champion, man.
Jon did not take half measures. He was dropping bombs on DC's head to make sure the title was secured. The same bombs that he dropped on Gustafsson's head 18 months later. It looked like the best days for Jon Jones are ahead of him. He got his title back, stayed out of trouble for the most part, and had new goals set in front of him. Adesanya was supposed to be his next big challenge, but after Adesanya lost to Jan Blachowicz, Jon knew that wasn't the challenge that he needed. Neither Anthony Smith, Thiago Santos, or Dominic Reyes were threats to the greatest fighter in the world. After average performances against them, Jon went missing. Who is Jon Jones without fighting? And what is he going to do without it? 10 years ago, a young kid was thrown to fight wolves in the cage, and all the fear brought the most danger out of him. The alter ego of Jon, Bones, had to be created to survive. With time, it overwhelmed him and took complete control over him. He stayed within this kind of state for too long. It killed Jon Jones, the quiet Christian, and left only the darker side. Or was Jones the act all along? We don't know. But when he's not fighting, Jon is empty, miserable, and helpless. The video of him being arrested and crying in a police car is one of the most heartbreaking videos in MMA.
it off yourself? I just want you guys to feel comfortable. I have to punish the blood, okay? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If it's not too much, could you come on?
Of course. This is yours, okay? You got this hair and you only hold on.
As well as another incident only a year later.
This is so humiliating. I got the Hall of Fame tonight, and then you're gonna put me on this by walking down the street. Thank you, on my fault. A black man can't drink, and being elected into the Hall of Fame, and now this is what I got. Do you? Relax. Relax. You all right? You all right? Relax.
I ain't going front. None of them cops is really safe, bro.
What did I do? What did I do? The other police officers, I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. No, please don't. Okay,
I ain't going front. Who else thought he was gonna break out them handcuffs?
The year is 2023. Jon Jones is scheduled to fight Cyril Gane, one of the best heavyweights today. For the last year, Jon has been training and staying out of trouble. He's getting another chance in this life. The prognosis is not favorable for Jon, however. If he wins, he gets back to the old vicious cycle. Can Gane break the cycle? Maybe for the sake of Jon, Bones needs to lose.
And the craziest thing, Bones went on to wash Cyril Gane in 45 seconds? So off of 2-year layoff, my son enters a different division, a heavyweight division, because he always fought in the the middleweight division. He's the middleweight GOAT of all time. Man goes up a division, fights the #1 contender in that division already, and handles this guy in the first round. GOAT. Like I said, like some of these dudes, it's like a gift and a curse. Like the thing that makes them extraordinary comes with the curse of having to also be human, because you're paid to kill, right? Like you're paid to fight. This is a combat sport. You're paid to be a warrior. But when the lights aren't bright, you got to go back into society and somehow find your love of life outside of combat. It's just a different mindset. I can only put him in the space of Mike Tyson in his prime. Jon Jones is nothing like this guy. You can't and that's why I say there are people that act tough, and then they're legit tough guys. Jon Jones don't have to explain his toughness. It's felt. He walks in the room and you feel it. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'm your host, Gab Bose, and this was the alter ego of Jon Jones, man. I'm gonna holler at you guys in the next video. Mamba out.